Since becoming mayor in 2016, Herman Mashaba has vowed to regenerate and clean up the city's central business district. Mashaba says he's focused on tackling the housing backlog, getting rid of crime, and cleaning up Johannesburg. Now, as part of the cleanup strategy, police conducted a raid on illegal traders and confiscated counterfeit goods in the Johannesburg CBD last week. Chaos ensued when a large group of traders pelted police with stones and petrol bombs and forced them to retreat. Well, joining us now in studio is the mayor himself, Herman Mashaba. It's good to see you. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you very much, Deliane, and good morning to the residents. I think it's actually deeply disturbing that I'm talking to you, almost 3-4 days after this situation happened, that not a single person is arrested today. I think this is something that is, for me, beyond to believe, that you can have your country's law enforcement agencies being attacked in that kind of fashion, with the images of the city of Johannesburg being beamed all over the world, the police actually running away from criminal elements. And 3-4 days later, no arrest. It is beyond belief, because I feel, as a mayor with a very limited capacity and competency, because the Constitution does not allow us to deal with type of criminality. But I can assure residents that I went there on Friday, and in fact, before going in, they started pelting, because when I announced that I was coming, one of the police vehicle went in first, and they started pelting them with stones. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going there. And we parked the distance, and I walked with the chief of police and the MMC. Fortunately enough, when they saw me, they started running. Yeah. And it's actually quite sad, and I'm really appealing to our national government to do something very urgent about this matter.
We look at these visuals. We see the police retreating. We see that there's blatant criminality. There are attacks against the police. This is South Africa, and many reports that these are foreign nationals. And what you're telling me is, because that was going to be my first question to you, we know that there wasn't an arrest last Thursday or Friday. I wanted to get an update of the weekend.
Even this morning, I've not heard of
not a single arrest from what we are seeing here.
Any honestly self-respecting country anywhere in the world, if I was the president, I would not have slept on Thursday. Bring in every available resource, the cordon of that city, ensure that those people are actually brought to book. You bring in all your intelligence, all your prosecutors. If it means you must put in 24-hour courts to deal with this particular threats, to demonstrate to our people out there that are law-abiding citizens, to assure the residents that South Africa is a safe place. That's something that's supposed to have done. Here is it. 4 or 5 days later, no single arrest. I don't know what the police are still planning.
I have to ask, who has the power here? Because from what we saw last week, it does not appear that the Metro Police have any power, or the city of Johannesburg have any power on the illegal immigrants that are
absolutely. The Metro Police, if you look at the Constitution of the country, the only thing we can do is to provide backup to South African police services. We can provide the backup to Home Affairs. And the counterfeit goods, did you see one of the South African Revenue Services officials, how he was injured? So it is not the competency of the city. This matter, it's purely within the Constitution. It's a matter for the South African police to bring in Home Affairs and bring all the criminal justice system cluster to ensure that we deal with this matter. And this needed a very strong political message to be sent out to the criminal elements that South Africa is not a jungle. But unfortunately, maybe they're still discussing it. But in the meantime, you can imagine how the people in our law-abiding citizens feel in the city, that our city has been captured by the international criminal syndicates.
People have been very critical of you because you have been very vocal about this, about illegal immigrants filtering into the city, services being completely overstrained because there are too many people that are operating illegally. And I think it's the word illegally that you have been emphasizing. However, what we saw last week is something that almost looks like it's completely out of control. Is it out of control now?
Well, almost under, totally under, almost under control.
Under or out of control?
Out, almost out, almost. I think if we're not going to act on this within the next few months, unfortunately, this country will be in big trouble. We need the president of the country to be the one actually leading this charge, because it's not about South Africa, it's about, about Johannesburg, it's about South Africa. And this matter requires the president of the country. Leanne, you know, just last week, the Stats SA released our latest unemployment numbers, the highest since 2008. We're sitting at almost close to 40% unemployment rate, our youth, particularly black youth. And at the same time, look at the number of undocumented people in the city. I mean, it's thousands. I don't know how we don't have the numbers, because every time when we rate this matter, if you don't get the support of Home Affairs, you'll never really know why these people are in the city, opening up illegal businesses, bringing in counterfeit goods. How do these counterfeit goods in the first place come to Johannesburg? Because they don't just fly from the ports, land in Johannesburg. They come through all our ports. You look at human trafficking. In December, I did a raid with the police just in one building. We uncovered 18 million rands of counterfeit goods. But what is scary about it? Yes, the counterfeit goods which are destroying our economy. Human trafficking. While these criminal syndicates come into this country because they know they will be protected, they bring in young girls from all over, I don't know where in the world. They lock them up in these buildings, and they bring in these goods that are not marked. And what they do, they bring in fake goods, and then they start putting in the labels into this. We don't know how many hours these young girls that are brought from all over the world. We allow modern slavery to happen right in the country, with one of the most the progressive constitution, with parliament, with the political leadership. I don't know where the political leadership is when they allows modern slavery to happen with international criminal syndicates.
How is your relationship with the Premier David Makhura? Are you working together? Do you help each other? Are you on the same page?
Well, I don't believe we are on the same page. Ask him how many times when I took over this administration, when I was insulted, when I was called names, including himself. When I raised these matters with me, he'll sit and agree to say, the Premier, we're sitting with a time bomb. 300,000 housing backlog in the city of Johannesburg, affordable accommodation, student accommodation. Our students in the city of Johannesburg going to Vets and New J, they sleep in libraries, they sleep everywhere. I said, can we work together? We know national government does not have the money. Please work with us as a city of Johannesburg. Let us reclaim this city, bring the private sector to build affordable accommodation for our people. And he will agree with me. Call him to a lunch, gone, we'll never see him. How many times the last 3 years, asking them with this failed RDP system where they want to build houses 70, 80 kilometers away from opportunities. I said, Premier, can you talk to national government? Allow me with the small grants that you give me. We've got these buildings that are hijacked, that are derelict. Let's build affordable accommodation so that our people can live next to job opportunities. Unlike if you put them in places far away from opportunities, we are creating a havoc. And he committed, he will work with me. He committed to work with me on the cleaning of our city. Let us encourage civil society to assist the government to clean our neighborhood, so that as government with our limited resources, then we can redirect our resources in building infrastructure. Infrastructure of the city of Johannesburg built more than 50 years ago by the apartheid government. Be water pipes, be the sewer systems, our roads, bridges. You're aware, last year, on 2 occasions, I had to close the M2. Built over 60 years ago, this undocumented foreign national stealing our infrastructure, anything to do with steal, even on bridges. Yeah. So that's why I had to close the bridge. Now, you can imagine the inconvenience that's happening to our residents. Has there been any single arrest? 33 billion rands of fraud and corruption that I've uncovered in the city of Johannesburg, where I've already reported this matter to Parliament, because the National Prosecuting Authority and our criminal justice system is not prosecuting clear cases.
You obviously are aware of these buildings that have been hijacked. You know them. You know exactly where they are. What about raids? I mean, can you work with the Metro Police to go in there and arrest these people? Do you have that mandate or not?
Well, let me just give you an example. You know, as a city of Johannesburg, this new administration, in just under 2 years of our administration, we arrested at the time just over 20,000 people. This number in 18 months is more number than the previous government arrested in 5 years. But look at the prosecution rate, because as Metro Police, our responsibility is to arrest and give them to National Criminal Justice System. Now you look at, you are saying, yes, the Metro Police will arrest the people, but do they get prosecuted? I'm afraid we're lucky if we're enjoying 5% success rate. So we arrest people, the following they're out there again. And it is not our competency as a city of Johannesburg.
Yeah. Well, we've spent the better part of this interview having a look at the situation there, and the fact that working together with national government and trying to get to the bitter crux and cause of what's going on in the city is just not working. That relationship is not there. Let's turn around what happened on Friday as well. A lot of accusations against you as the mayor and your administration. The ANC claiming that the city is broke. They want to dethrone you and put a vote of no confidence against you by August 27, saying that there's only 2 billion rand in the city's account, which does not belong to the city.
Leanne, please go in. I'm sure you've got archives of ANC in 2017, 2017, just a year into office. They used the same thing. They said they even had to go to court on an emergency basis, and they lost that case, that the city is just about to financially collapse. Isn't that what they used for that? Right now, I'm happy to tell you that the city of Johannesburg, we just closed our year end in June. Double the amount, just over 4 billion rands in cash that we've closed in. And you look at our service delivery. Fortunate enough, we are not audited by the small auditing firms. We are audited by the Auditor General. Wait until you get our official audited financials from the Auditor General come January, when I present our financials to the nation. Fortunate enough, you will see our collection rate, our service delivery, because government is about service delivery. It's not about having mayors on billboards and traveling the world. It's about saving money for the residents so that you can really actually put service delivery as a core function of a municipality.
So you're denying any form of mismanagement, maladministration.
But the thing is, Leanne, I'm saying is, please go into the file. You've got records of what ANC used as a reason 2 years ago, as the reason for the motion of no confidence. The only thing that ANC wants to do, firstly, they are spending sleepless nights because of the corruption cases that I've now submitted to Parliament. And I made sure that all the political parties in the justice portfolio, they've got records of that, so that this information does not really disappear. Obviously, we're going towards 2021. ANC wants the resources to really be able to capture the state again. They want to be next to state resources. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen in the city of Johannesburg. I was not on the 22nd of August, 2016. ANC, as you are aware, they voted against me. So my staying in power is not going to depend on ANC. It's going to depend on the parties that put me into power.
So you're confident that you will survive? There's no confidence?
Well, I think it's not a question of being confident. I think if the parties that elected me to really be the mayor of the city are the ones who are going to decide my fate, it's not going to be the ANC. ANC voted against me. They voted for every, you can imagine, we've passed 3 adjustment budgets ever since I took over. 3 adjustment budgets, 3 main budgets. Every one of them, ANC has never approved of. They've never approved our budget. They've never approved anything of substance. Right now, the city of Johannesburg, as you're aware, as part of our inner city plan, redevelopment plan, We've now got 20 billion rands of investment. The city within the next 4 or 5 months is going to turn into a construction site. But the success is going to depend on us getting rid of this criminality that's in there. And I think it looks like it is a deliberate attempt for the ANC to make sure that the city of Johannesburg is ungovernable, so that this building of our accommodation for our students and our poor people actually fail. Because ANC wants to see black people fail. They want them to suffer. They want them to be ignorant so that the black people can be their voting cattle.
Let's get back to the city centre now. I'm seeing a lot of people commenting and coming in and adding their voice to the conversation, asking, where is the visible policing in the city, in the CBD? They don't see it. You've seen the army being deployed into the Cape Flats, which we know was needed, and the calls were very, very loud. Underlying that is another call to perhaps maybe deploy the army there, sort out the situation there. Would you like to see something like that happen?
I think, Delian, we don't need the army at this point in time. I think, let me just remind the residents of City of Johannesburg, perhaps that's something that they've forgotten, and it is important for us to keep reminding them. You know, when I took over hardly 6 months, the biggest investment I made and managed to convince council was to employ 1,500 police officers. Because how do you run a city with 5 million official people, plus I don't know how many millions of undocumented? I had to invest in hiring 1,500 police officers who are undergoing training, and one of the best training. These police officers will hit the streets end of October. This is something that obviously as society you don't really see it, because police officers, you can't just get them, go and buy them from the supermarket shelf. You've got to really train them. So by end of October this year, we'll have additional 1,500 police officers. But the challenge for us is going to be on prosecution. Is our national criminal justice system going to support us when we arrest people? Are they going to prosecute them?
Yeah. Mayor, just before I let you go and we take an ad break, I want to just get an update on your meeting with the Minister of Home Affairs with regard to an issue that you've been on about the entire time, illegal immigrants. Where are we at here?
Well, Leanne, in the 3 years, just under 3 years in government, I'm now dealing with the 5th Minister of Home Affairs. I've got letters to that effect. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I bumped into the new Minister of Home Affairs at a funeral of a medical doctor in Pretoria. And I raised this matter with him in front of the others. I said, the Minister, a week after you took over, I wrote you a letter to firstly congratulate you, and I gave you the letters of all the other ministers that I've written to before you. And he promised me, he says, Monday, Mayor, when I get to the office, I will check, because I have no knowledge of those letters. Monday, when I got into the office, I immediately wrote another letter to remind him about it. The only thing I've received from him is acknowledgement of my letter. So right now, I can assure you, it leaves me with no option. Today, when I get to the office, I briefed my legal team. This matter of Home Affairs refusing to discharge that responsibility, I'm taking it to Parliament. I want Parliament Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs to hold the Minister and the Department accountable for the chaos that we are seeing in this country. Because Home Affairs is costing this country billions to ensure that our borders are protected, that people are documented, everyone. So I'm taking this matter by this afternoon. At the latest, I'm sending this to members of the portfolio on Home Affairs to call the Minister. With all the correspondence that I've sent them, or I've been trying to engage them, I will show the Parliament how some of the previous ministers have insulted me when I was raising this particular matter that we are sitting with the time bomb. All
right, we leave it there. Mayor, thanks for talking to us. Mayor Herman Mashaba of Johannesburg talking to us about many issues within the city centre, whether it's illegal immigrants, whether it's votes of no confidence, whether it's home affairs, porous borders, quite a lot covered in there. But we thank you very, very much for your time. Let's take a break. News at 8 after this. Stay tuned.